It should come as no surprise to my friends and viewers that trading card games have always had a very special place in my heart. In this series, both Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or one box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. Every week we will add an additional core set to our collections, moving in chronological order. We will use these cards to create a deck and then face off against one another in a best 2 out of 3 match, with the winner receiving 2 prizes to upgrade their deck, while the loser receives 1. These prizes can range from wildcards, to sealed product, to starter decks, and more. Every card that has been released will be available to us at least once. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to banish into the Shadow Realm, and even the way the very rules of the game will change, will keep our decks and our duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Okay, so unfortunately last week did not exactly pan out greatly, and our streak came to an end. But it's not as bad as it seems, because we're on to the next set, which is Tactical Evolution. Unfortunately, this set is not great. This set came out in August of 2007, and it introduces the Venom archetype, a series of monsters that unfortunately share a similar problem with the aliens. Specifically, they focus on putting Venom counters onto the opponent's monsters, and the Venom counters have the effect of reducing the attack power of a monster by 500, and if the monster's attack drops to 0 by this effect, they get destroyed. However, unfortunately, it only works if Venom Swamp is on the field. Thankfully, Venom Swamp is a common. However, the problem is the fact that, just like the A counters, it only works if that card is in play. And even worse so, there are no other cards in the Venom archetype that actually give that effect. Not even the boss monsters. So unfortunately, we're really going to have to protect Venom Swamp if we want to go this route. The other notable thing about this set is it introduces the Gemini monsters, a series of monsters that are treated as normal monsters while face up on the field or in the graveyard, and while they're face up on the field, you can choose to normal summon them a second time to have them treated as the effect monster with their given effect, which unfortunately means that most Gemini monsters are bad, like really bad. In fact, there is a total of 3 Gemini monsters in the history of the game that effectively were used competitively, and even then, only one of them was actually used for a real competitive strat. The other 2 were, like, one was used kind of with zombie cards because it was a decent one, and the other one was used for an OTK. The only other one that was actually reliably used was only used because of a card that got released later down the road, and we'll discuss that detail later, once that set comes available to us. But the other stuff that's notable here is the introduction of NEX, which is Neospatian support. Unfortunately, it did not really pan out very well at the time, so there's only like 2 or 3 monsters that actually get an impact with this card, so chances are we're not going to be seeing it at all. Scrolling down a little bit into the comments still, we see Gift Card, which is actually a bad card that can be good. It gives your opponent 3,000 life points, but if you have bad reaction to Samachi on the field, this reads deal 3,000 damage, which is actually really good. And then we have Counter Counter, which is one of my favorite cards. Its effect is actually kind of basic. It just negates the activation of a counter trap and destroys it. Realistically, it's not the greatest card. Hell, Solemn Judgment or 7 Tools of the Bandit are technically better because they can negate anything or any trap card. However, Counter Counter is a fun card because of one fun little fact. When this card originally was released, it actually did not have the counter trap symbol. It was actually erroneously marked as a normal trap card, which meant that it was actually impossible to play this card. because you could not activate it to use the effect because the counter traps were spell speed 3, and this card unfortunately was spell speed 2. Konami quickly realized that and gave this card an errata, and thank God they did, because otherwise this card would be completely useless to us right now. Looking into the rares, unfortunately most of them are kind of meh, but Double Summon's actually one of the only good rares, effectively, and that's just because it allows you to summon 2 times per turn in a turn instead of just once. The idea for this card, effectively, is so that way you could summon a Gemini monster and get its effect off right away. What we would probably rely on it for instead would be to just get monsters out quickly and slam the opponent. So, yeah, it's not too great. Then scrolling down to the super rares, there really aren't too many here that are important. Zombie Master's kind of good if you're going to run a zombie theme deck, and honestly, if we could pick a couple of these up later, this might help out. Neos Alias here is actually the Neospatian that gets used in the strategy that comes down later down the road, because its effect is actually kind of crappy. It only becomes Elemental Hero Neos while on the field, and generally that's not really a good effect. Instead, there is a card that gets released that makes use of Neos Alias specifically for its level and its archetype, or rather its attribute. Necrogarna is actually the best super rare here, because if it's in your graveyard, you could banish it to negate an attack from an opponent's monster, which is pretty nice, and it's a good way to protect yourself if you need to. Scrolling down into the ultra rares, again, not very much to really talk about here. Crystal Seer, I think, is like the only one to pay attention to. It's a flip monster that lets you mill the top 2 cards of your deck. You get to pick one, add it to your hand, and then the other goes to the bottom of your deck. Since we don't have Nobleman of Crossout in the game anymore, this card is actually somewhat usable. And then, scrolling up into the secret rares, we have 10 of them, and holy shit, this is a bad selection. The only one that actually matters for us is Rainbow Dragon. If we can pull this, then we will have more or less everything we need for the Crystal Beast archetype. So, if we don't pull this, we can still rely on the Crystal Beast, but it won't be as effective. That being said, we're going to go ahead and see what we can come up with once we get into the pack opening. But first, we actually need to discuss the June 2007 list. This came out about 2 months before Tactical Evolution came out. However, thankfully for us, it actually doesn't change anything, because Green Baboon, Defender of the Forest, and Magical Stone Excavation both go to 1, and that is literally the only thing that changes. And given the fact that neither of us have any of these, that really doesn't matter for us. So we're going to go ahead and get into the pack opening. Alright, 24 packs of Tactical Evolution. Let's flip the first pack and see what we hit. And not a whole lot, unfortunately. I mean, Amulet of Ambition might be kind of notable. It can only equip to a normal monster, which sucks, but if it fights a monster with a higher level, then the monster gains 500 points times the difference in levels during that fight. So, like, for example, if you throw this onto a Moki Moki and run it into a level 7 monster, then Moki Moki gains 3,000 attack points, which is actually not terrible. You know, that's actually not a horrible idea now that I think about it. Okay, so we see our first gift card. That's pretty good to see. Another Amulet of Ambition. That's also pretty good to see. And I guess that's really it. I mean, Counter's cool, and like I said, I like that card, but realistically, it's not super special. Next pack. Okay, so we see Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World, which is actually a pretty good monster, 2100 defense. Admittedly, one of the big problems we've had with the Dark World deck lately has been having low defense to save us on something, so this is actually kind of helpful. And also, Elemental Hero Marine Neos. It took me a second to notice that that was actually a rare and not a, like a holo. See, this is actually one of the really crappy cards here, because it not only is a contact fusion, but on top of that, it requires Neos and Neospatian Marine Dolphin. So you actually have to summon out Aqua Dolphin, use NEX to pull out Marine Dolphin, and then Contact Fuse into this guy. The only good thing, though, is, thankfully, as you notice, he does not have the return to the extra deck at the end of the turn bullshit, so that's like the one benefit of this card. Alien Shock Trooper's not too bad, though, with 1900 attacks, so like, that's nothing to sleep on either. Oh, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, so first off, second gift card, that's nice to see. Our first holo is a Gemini Summoner. Now, ignore it saying super rare right here, because this is actually one of the 10 secret rares. And, I mean, it's not awful, I guess. Once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can pay 500 life points to normal summon or set a Gemini from your hand. Or Gemini summon a face-up Gemini you control. And then it gets battle protection once per turn. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but given that it is a secret rare altogether, God, that could have been so much better. That is weird, though, that it's pulling it up saying it's a super rare. That's really odd. Okay, so another Shock Trooper, another Renge, which is good, and our third gift card, and our first Venom Swamp. So if we really want to try the Venom cards, we're going to need a couple of these. That being said, we're also going to need to make sure that we actually hit at least one of the boss monsters for it. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. We actually got it. Not only did we get the Rainbow Dragon, but we got the Ghost Rare version too. God. I've seen this card in real life as a Ghost Rare, and let me tell you, it is one of the most beautiful Ghost Rares that I have ever seen. And that's saying something, because I usually do not like Ghost Rares. I've had a Ghost Rare Honest in my life, and it looked kind of nice, but most of the other Ghost Rares I've seen I did not like, but Honest and Rainbow Dragon I definitely enjoyed. Holy fuck. So yeah, this is actually on the table for us now, and Rai is gonna shit a brick. Alright, next pack. And it doesn't look like there's anything too spectacular. Another Renge, though, that's kind of nice. And a Hunter Dragon's actually kind of decent for a level 3 monster, too. Oh, hell yes. Crystal Seer Ultimate Rare. That's pretty sweet. So not only, especially because of the fact that it's an ultra rare in general, having one of these is going to be nice, because that's going to help cycle our deck a little bit. Another Alien Shock Trooper. I think this makes our playset of this. And Ojama Knight's kind of neat if we ever want to go into that route, but nothing too spectacular there. And next pack, it looks like we don't really see anything too special. Another Hunter Dragon. I think that fills out our playset there. Hero Counterattack. I don't actually remember what this is. If a elemental hero monster you control is destroyed in battle, your opponent chooses or reveals a card from your hand, and if it's a hero, you could destroy a monster your opponent controls and special summon it. Oh, okay. I don't know if I necessarily use that, but definitely gonna have to keep that in mind in case Rai wants to run it. Okay, so it looks like we've been having a bit of a dry spell now in terms of usable cards. The only notable card in here is actually Broken Bamboo Sword, and the funny thing is, this isn't actually because of it being particularly useful. In fact, it's actually a really bad card in general. However, there is a Bamboo Sword archetype that comes out later, and there's actually a card that makes use of this card to draw extra cards. So if we find that later down the road, this actually might matter. And it looks like we still have nothing on the next pack, too. Honestly, I feel like we front-loaded everything of importance out of here, and the rest of these packs are just going to be garbage. Okay, Snake Rain's actually not terrible, albeit we don't have much of a purpose for it at the moment. You could discard a card and then send 4 reptile monsters from your deck to the graveyard, which basically it's... See, the interesting thing about it is that it's effectively kind of like a painful choice of sorts for reptiles, and it's actually kind of a good card if you have a way to make use of it. Unfortunately, we don't really see any of that yet. Oh, okay, so there's another Amulet of Ambition. I think that actually might round out our playset, so that's good. Another Snake Rain, okay. And Fifth Hope. What the hell is this? Target 5 elemental heroes in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and draw 2. And then draw 3 instead if you had no other cards on your side of the field and in your hand when you activated this card. Huh. Okay, that's actually kind of neat. So it's basically like Pot of Avarice for elemental heroes. Okay, you know what? That's actually not the worst thing in the world, I guess. Well, we're on the last 3 packs, and yeah, we really haven't seen much past that Fifth Hope, and I mean, to be honest, we hit pretty much what we were hoping to see, which is Crystal Seer and Rainbow Dragon, so there isn't really a whole lot left out of this. So, let's flip this, and another Broken Bamboo Sword. That's kind of nice. That's pretty much all we've got, though. Alright, so second to last pack. Ooh, we hit a Doom Shaman. What is this thing? I mean, granted, it's a Gemini, so it's definitely not great, but let's see. Once per turn, you can special summon a fiend from your hand or either graveyard. When it leaves the field, destroy all fiends special summoned by this effect. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the fact that it's a level 6, so you have to tribute summon it and get it out again, that's not the best thing in the world, honestly. Like, that's, I guess it's a holo, but it's just crap. Alright, last pack. Let's see what we hit. I don't even know if there's anything we could ask for. Nothing it looks like that's really any good. What is Summoner's Art? Add a level 5 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's decent, I guess, but nothing amazing. Well, okay, so overall, honestly, overall, this wasn't that bad. We got Rainbow Dragon, we got the Crystal Seer, and honestly, that's really all we could have hoped for in terms of holos. Like, having Renge as a common is good. We got 2 Broken Bamboo Swords, so that's good if we could pull that up for later. Yeah, honestly, I can't really complain about this box. Like, knowing the set was going to be weak in general, we pretty much hit it out of the park. So, I guess it's time to go into deck edit and see what we could come up with. Alright, so here's our deck for today's duel, and yes, you are seeing this correctly, we are running the Crystal Beasts. And let me tell you, this is going to be one of my favorite duels, simply because this was an archetype I played as a teenager, and enjoyed the ever-loving hell out of. Now granted, this deck is far more competently built than the one I had as a teen, mostly because I only had 1 copy of each of the beasts as a teen, but you know what? This is going to be a lot of fun. And you know what? Given the fact that we're in this circumstance, I think we're going to go ahead and make a slight adjustment. There we go. Much better. I think this is the second time I get to make this stupid kind of joke, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and give the card by card here. We have 2 copies of Crystal Beast Amber Mammoth. This is probably one of the better Crystal Beasts here, because he gets to direct the attacks to himself. We have 2 Amethyst Cat, 2 Cobalt Eagle, 2 Emerald Tortoise, 2 Ruby Carbuncle, and 1 Sapphire Pegasus, and 2 Topaz Tiger. Now, the reason we're running 2 of each one is simply because Rai has DD Crow. That means that we have to worry about him potentially banishing one of the Crystal Beasts in our graveyard. Now, unfortunately, there's not really much we can do about Sapphire Pegasus. If that gets banished, well, we're screwed. But, with the rest of them, if we can make sure that he can't banish Pegasus, and he can only banish one of these, then we have another one to work with. We also have 1 Cyber Dragon, 1 Magician of Faith, 1 Mobius the Frost Monarch, our Rainbow Dragon. This is basically going to be our boss monster for this. 1 Rise of the Storm Monarch, one Sangan, one Sinister Serpent. I figure since we're going to be discarding a couple of things with our spell and traps here, I figure it was a good card to bring back here. And one copy of Witch of the Black Forest. For our spells, one Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. This card is going to make a huge difference for us. We have 2 Crystal Beacon. If we have 2 or more Crystal Beasts in the spell and trap zone, then we can special summon a Crystal Beast monster from our deck. 2 Crystal Blessing. We could take 2 Crystal Beast monsters in our graveyard, put them in our spell and trap zones. 3 Crystal Promise lets us take a Crystal Beast in our spell and trap zone and special summon it. Generally, we're going to use this to special summon Ruby, which will let us special summon the other ones. 1 Giant Trunade, 1 Graceful Charity, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Pot of Greed, and 1 Forceful Sentry. For our traps, we have 3 Crystal Raigeki. Basically, it's the equivalent of Raigeki Break, just sending a Crystal Beast in our spell and trap zone to the grave as cost. 1 Magic Cylinder, 2 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. The reason I have these in place is because if we could spin a card to Rise deck, then not only does it get rid of a threat on the field, but on top of that, it also means that he loses out on a draw. And 2 copies of Sakuretsu Armor. I'm kind of okay playing a deck higher than 40 cards for this case, simply because there's just so much that we have to cram in here. And honestly, I feel like it's not going to be that big of a problem. And here's where Sinister Serpent comes in. Graceful Charity is a discard problem, and Phoenix Wing Wind Blast requires us to discard. So you know what? This might come in handy. Extra deck's the same thing as usual. We're probably not going to touch any of it. And then for our side, we have 1 Cypher Soldier, 1 DD Warrior Lady, 1 Exile Force, 2 Fusion Devourer. We have not revealed this card just yet, and if Rai goes back into Heroes, which he very well might because he has a Disc Commander now as well as a Stratos, so we may have to side this in for games 2 and 3. 1 Grand Mole, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Confiscation, 1 Crystal Abundance. I kind of want to run this in the main deck, however, it is a very much win more card, and the fact that you have to have 4 Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap zone to even play this card makes it a lot harder to go off. That being said, if we resolve this, we pretty much win. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Enemy Controller, 1 Metamorphosis. Unfortunately, the only target we have available realistically is going to be Moth or Sinister Serpent into Thousand Eyes, because I thought we could use Rainbow Dragon since it's level 10 to summon out Electrum, but plot twist, Electrum is just like every other hero. It has to be fusion summoned only. Oh well. 1 Sorcerer of Healing Light, 1 Call of the Haunted, and 1 Ring of Destruction. So guys, we're going to see what we can come up with, and goddamn, this is going to be fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to duel.
Alright, recording has started. So, are you excited to finally be through the GX slog yet?
Oh, absolutely. GX, don't get me wrong, I love GX as an anime to watch, but god, most of the set's just miserable.
This one is one of the worst ones. This set had maybe 3 cards that impacted the meta.
If even that.
All of them are high rarity too, so they probably won't be impacting our series too much.
Yeah. Alright, let's see what we can do.
Nice.
Damn it. Okay.
Nice. Finally, I get back on the train of being on the play for game 1, which I will be. Good luck, duelist.
Alright, good luck.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. Yuck. I will set 2 and pass.
Interesting. Alright, I draw. Stand by main. Ooh. That's an option. Alright. Let's start with some damage. I'm going to activate Giant Trunade.
Sure.
Alright. Now, before I make this next move, I feel like I need to send you something.
Oh no.
And this is going to, because my next play is going to reveal it, and let's just say you might use this for editing. I'm running out Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle.
Ah, so you do have the Crystal Beast.
And beat for 14.
You got it.
Main 2, I will set a card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. This isn't getting much better. I will set 3 and pass.
Alright. Draw. Standby. Main. Wait. There we go. Ooh. Is that... Well, I can't believe I'm... Okay. I top decked it. Might as well run it out. I'm going to fire Heavy Storm.
That's not good. I will chain Compulse.
Alright.
Wow, you're so sacky.
Yeah, in fairness, I just drew that off, so I didn't expect that. Alright, I'll run out Cobalt Eagle again.
Yup.
And caw-caw.
14 in.
Main 2, I will set another card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. Cool.
Ooh,
I drew
Warrior of
Warrior of
Atlantis. Alright.
Let's go get the thing.
That implies to me that you're going to have a level 5 in your hand, because otherwise, because otherwise you would have kept Warrior just for a beat stick.
Yup. Show me your sack.
I don't have it, so I will take the 1200.
That goes to your back row if you want it to.
And it will go into the back row.
Go.
Alright, so draw. Standby, main. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna summon out my Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus.
Yeah, that's not unexpected. If you're playing this deck, you got one. This deck is not playable without Sapphire Pegasus.
And let's see, which one do I want to send in? I think I'm gonna go ahead and send my Amber Mammoth.
Seems okay.
Then I'm going to activate my Crystal Raigeki, pitching my Cobalt Eagle to pop your Salmon.
Sure.
Alright. Battle phase, I will go ahead and hit for 18.
18 in.
And I will pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I'll go ahead and run out another one.
Alright.
Then I am going to also run out an Aqua Spirit.
Ooh, okay.
Proceed to the battle phase.
Alright.
I'll run over Sapphire Pegasus for 800 points damage.
And this will go into the Spell Trap, and
then
I will
18.
take 18. Alright.
Go!
Alright. Draw. Standby. Main. This does put me in a slight predicament.
I am representing lethal.
You are. Let's see. I think I'm going to set a monster and then activate Crystal Promise. Special summon my Pegasus in defense mode.
Yep, and then you get to get another Crystal Beast to the back row.
And I think I'm going to go for my Emerald Tortoise.
Yep.
And I'll pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. I'm going to go ahead and just proceed straight to battle.
Alright.
I'll hit over Sapphire Pegasus.
Alright, so Pegasus goes there.
And then I'll hit into your set.
which will be my Ruby Carbuncle.
Yep, that will also go to the back row. That's scary. After combat, I'm going to set one in path.
Alright. Draw. Standby main.
What can I say? Big numbers hit hard.
Yeah, they do. Alright, I will set one and pass.
Draw for turn, standby main. I will run out this Mermaid Knight.
And I will declare defeat.
Yep. Yep, big numbers hit hard.
Big numbers hit hard. Okay, so that did not go exactly as I had planned, but that's fine.
What can I say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair enough. Draw. Standby main. Well, speaking of ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's go Pegasus.
Pretty good.
Let's see. We will add... We will add Ruby to the spell zone.
I mean, Ruby's a good one.
Then I will pass.
Draw for turn, standby main. I don't like doing this because that exposes this to Rainbow Ruins, but I don't think I have much of a choice. I'm gonna fire Terraforming.
Ooh, terraforming. Okay.
I'll go get Legendary Ocean. Fire it.
Alright.
Here's a big boy.
The biggest of boys. Alright.
Alright, 2650.
I will take the 850, and Pegasus will go there.
After combat, I'll set one.
Alright.
Nope.
Draw. Standby main. Let's see. Let's see, how do I get out of this? I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by setting a monster, and then I'm going to activate Crystal Promise
That's pretty good.
to special summon Ruby in defense.
Yep, and then that's going to bring back your Pegasus, which gets you more value. This is why you can't play Crystal Beast without Sapphire Pegasus. It just generates so much value.
Oh, absolutely. Pegasus effect, I will bring up my Tortoise to the field.
I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't bring this deck, because mirrors of this take forever.
And I will pass.
Draw for turn. Standby main. Run out Amphibious Boogroth Mark III.
Ooh, that's an issue. Okay.
Battle. Let's go 17 direct.
Alright.
And then I'm going to hit over Pegasus so it doesn't hit over the Amphibious Boogroth.
Okay.
I don't like putting that back in your back row, but the alternative is worse. I will ship the turn.
Alright, I draw. Standby main. Ooh, there's an option. Okay, so I'm gonna start by activating my Crystal Beacon. Do you have a response?
No.
Alright. Let's see who to summon.
I don't think any of them can wall up against a 2650.
True. I think I'm going to get my Cobalt Eagle.
That's one of the issues I have with the Crystal Beast deck, is it has a lot of difficulty just dealing with tribute monsters.
True. Alright, I'm going to activate Giant Trunade.
That's really good. That is really good.
Alright, so I'm going to run out Pegasus.
You haven't normaled yet either. That's sick value. Giant Trunade in that deck is disgusting.
I know. I thought about it afterwards. I was like, damn, that's even more broken than it looks.
Yeah, Giant Trunade just lets you get basically infinite value off of Pegasus.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and grab Amber Mammoth.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go to battle.
Yeah, this Boogroth is not long for this world.
Yep.
300 in.
Main phase 2, I will set a card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main. Let's go ahead and... I don't like that back row. Let's go ahead and run out an Abyss Soldier, and then with... Is the summon okay? This is specifically the summon response window we're in.
Right. Okay, summon's good.
And then with Prio, I am going to pitch this Mermaid Knight and bounce your set back row.
Okay. I'm going to chain my Phoenix Wing Wind Blast.
That's pretty awful.
I will pitch my Amethyst Cat to bounce Giga Gaga Ego back to the top of the deck.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Unfortunately, I don't get Wing Blast back, but... Well, actually, do I get it back?
No, because it's already resolved.
Okay. Damn, that would have been nice.
I guess I'll fire this again.
I was honestly tempted to wait and use that on there, but you kind of forced the issue.
That's why I did it specifically, is to just play around as many things as possible. I'll go ahead and put the Pegasus back in the back row. I don't like doing it, but I need to do this to do board presence. Take 2.
Alright, I will... Alright, I'll move that back.
And then I'll put down 2 afterward. Go!
Alright, draw, standby, main.
Unfortunately, I think this is where Crystal Beast starts taking over the game. This is such a good control deck.
It is. Let's see. I'm going to set a card and set a monster. And then I'm going to pass the turn.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I don't like that back row. I just cannot help but think that that's a sack. Yeah. I'll run the boy out.
Alright.
Go to battle.
Okay.
I will send the Cobalt Eagle to the back. Hopefully.
I will go ahead and put that in the back.
Alright. And then I have to chew through these back row eventually, so I'll go ahead and play into your sack.
It isn't... I will...
I mean, it could be another Wing Blast.
It could be.
I mean, if you're playing Wing Blast, you might not even be playing sack. But I have to chew through these back row eventually.
I'm going to... do I want to do that, though? I'm going to activate Crystal Raigeki. I will send Cobalt Eagle, and I will pop your Gagagigo.
I'm actually gonna chain Compulse and put it back in my hand.
Okay. Well, you summoned for the turn, so it's out of there for now.
Yep. Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby, main. Let's see. How do I do this?
Very low resource game.
It is.
God, all you need to do though is just like find Rainbow Ruins, and this game is just over.
I'm going to...
Surprised you haven't drawn it yet.
I'm honestly surprised I haven't... Well, I mean, granted, if you knew my deck composition, you wouldn't be quite as surprised, but... Yeah, I am a little surprised I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Because that's another card that you have to play this deck, because the field spell is just that good.
I'm going to... Yeah, I'm gonna set 2 cards and pass.
Draw for turn, stand by, main. Run him back out there.
Alright.
I will also run Aqua Spirit out there.
Ooh, interesting.
Proceed to battle.
Okay.
Anything at start of battle phase?
No.
I'll put Ruby in the back.
I will... I don't like it, but...
There'd be a stack out there.
Yeah, I'll move Ruby there.
Alright, this soldier into this set.
Which is actually my Emerald Tortoise, so
That
you will take
bounce.
200.
I will not take 200. Is it water? Oh, it's water! Wow!
Yep.
It is water. Okay, I guess I take 200.
Boink.
And yeah, I take 200. And then I'll just hit over the Emerald Tortoise. This will get sacked, probably.
It's not going to get sacked, but you will get Magic Cylindered.
That's a pretty big hit. Yeah, that's a solid hit. You have no cards in hand. I will go ahead and pass the turn, and then I will, during your standby phase, I'm going to force your Emerald Tortoise into attack position, and it can't change its battle position this turn.
Okay. If only I had a way to actually keep it on the field for sure, but okay. I'm going to set a monster. Then I'm going to... I don't like it. I really don't like this. But I'm going to actually attack into your Aqua Spirit.
You're gonna hit into the Aqua Spirit?
I'm gonna take the 1,000 damage and get the turtle the fuck out of there. That way, I don't have to worry about you ramming Gaga Gigo into it.
And just to clarify, that is going to your graveyard, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. What am I scared of? That's not live. That's not live. What am I afraid of? Let's go to the battle phase.
Okay.
Let's attack into your new set.
It was my...
Is it another Emerald Tortoise?
It is my Amber Mammoth.
And that's also going to grave, correct?
Correct.
I will attack into this set for 2,000.
That will be my Witch of the Black Forest.
Oh man, I bet you really wanted me to kill that earlier.
I was considering it. Let's see. What do I want to pull? Is the question. Oh god, seeing what was at the top of my deck makes me so sad now.
Oh,
Um, okay. Shit. God, and I know exactly why they did that to Cyber Dragon, just so that way you couldn't witch his ass out, but...
yeah, exactly.
Alright,
Cider is already good enough. It doesn't need to be searchable by Witch.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab a Topaz Tiger.
It's not bad. After combat, I'm going to prohibit Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder.
Oh, shit, okay.
Then I'm going to pass the turn.
Alright, I draw. Standby, main.
Not gonna lie, it was either that or Ancient City. I was gonna prohibit one of those. Which one am I more afraid of?
Off the top.
What, did I prohibit the wrong one?
Well,
it
actually doesn't. I was gonna say it doesn't actually do too much because well, for one, I just drew this off the top, so it's not like you called wrong in a sense. But on top of that, honestly, given my board state, Hamon makes sense. Also, this is gone now.
Right.
And let me add that back so that way we have it on the field. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Then I'm going to run out my Topaz Tiger.
I mean, they're both bad, but... they're both bad, but I think Hamon is worse.
Right. Then I'm going to... let's see. I'm gonna run into your Abyss Soldier.
You have no cards in hand and one back row, huh? I am going to Book of Moon this.
Okay. And then... alright. And I'll end my turn.
Draw for turn. Stand by. Main. I'm gonna proceed to the battle phase.
Okay.
I think Topaz Tiger has a less than 1600 butt.
It does. It has 1,000.
That's what I thought.
So that'll go to the grave.
And then this is exact lethal if you don't have an answer.
Well, I do. I will take the 18.
Yep, and then I'll attack with the Gaga Gigo, and you have to show me your answer. Oh, well, you can have it, you're right.
So I will have it.
Right, that does give you another turn. I will pass the turn.
Alright.
Well, you better hope you top deck something good.
Well, let's see. I'm going to have to pray to God you do not have Crow in your hand, but I'm going to activate Crystal Blessing. I will target my Emerald Tortoise and my Topaz Tiger.
You can't put both, actually, because Crystal Blessing is occupying the space that you would put
fair.
that in.
Okay, I will. Well, in that case, I will target Emerald Tortoise.
Sure.
Do you have Crow?
I do not have Crow.
Okay.
So you can draw a card.
I will use that effect to draw the card. Ooh, okay. Then... I, unfortunately, actually do not have an out. I
The big
have...
numbers hit hard.
Because I have Wing Blast, and I have Crystal Raigeki in hand.
Yeah, that's not going to do it.
Yeah, if... Damn, if Crystal Blessing would... Like, if I would have drawn a card... Like, if I would have drawn a monster, it wouldn't have been as bad. What was the next card?
Oh, you did get one.
Yeah, I pulled the Ghost Rare. I was like, oh, I have to... I was like, I pulled Pegasus, I pulled the Dragon, I have to go for it.
Oh, you too?
Oh, you pulled the Ghost Rare?
Also got a Ghost Rare Rainbow Dragon.
But yeah,
Those are supposed to be 1 in 12 boxes. What the heck?
I was like, fuck it, I have to go for this, especially because... Well, the nice thing about Rainbow Dragon, too, is I could have pulled it off of Witch if I wanted to.
I think you have 7. I think you have 7 types too, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
have
thing.
all 7.
With Pegasus, I have all 7 I need. The only issue was I just didn't have all of them at the time, and then on top of that, I also needed a way to actually get to the field. Plus, not to mention, the other issue is I needed either a Crystal Promise at this point to get Ruby onto the field, or Pegasus onto the field, or something, in order to have some way to get back at this, but the problem was... Oh, you pulled a Crystal Seer.
Yeah, one of the 3 good cards in this set.
Yeah,
this card is really good.
Fun fact, I actually pulled one too, but I kind of forgot to add it to the deck.
This card is disgusting. It's so good.
I think mine was an ultimate rare too. Like, I should have... I absolutely should have put that in there.
That's pretty. I had the dim fusion in hand for a very long time, and I actually could have pushed for lethal on the turn that you have the Giga Gaga Gigo. I just really didn't want to run into. I didn't want to run into something like Crystal Raigeki,
right?
And just go down to a very dangerous life total. Because if you had, I think that might have been before I drew the Prohib as well, because I was expecting you to just go into Hamon and kill me if I went for Dim Fusion, because that would put me at a very low life total. I wasn't necessarily expecting you to play Rainbow Dragon specifically. I was more playing around Hamon. So my idea with the Prohib is, which card am I more scared of? Because if you play Hamon and then kill the Abyss Soldier, I think I have maybe like 2 or 3 cards in my deck that out Hamon. And it's a 4K beater.
Right.
Even if I put it in defense with Aqua Spirit, it's still got a 4K butt.
Right.
And with Boogroth banished, I guess Boogroth could like attack directly, but it would still be a very risky proposition, because then you would just, if I summon that out, you would just beat over the Boogroth. I guess at that point I have to just draw another water and I can bounce the Hamon, but
yeah.
I still just didn't feel like committing that many life points to try to make a lethal push and just give you one more draw.
Right.
But it was just, which thing do I not have an out for? And the Rainbow Ruins on this board wasn't so bad.
Yeah. So, fun fact, when I said, oh, I feel bad that, like, when I was all, oh man, the top of card in my deck, this makes me sad, it was actually the Crystal Abundance I had sided in.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And I had Blessing face down, so I could have straight up Abundanced if I had drawn it.
Wow, that's disgusting.
So yeah, you ended up hitting my Witch just 1 turn too early for me, essentially.
So, this deck still works. I can't imagine this deck is going to survive this format.
I was gonna say, it's... Honestly, I didn't really want to consider banning a Legendary Ocean at any point, but it's really getting to the point where I might have to consider it, just because there's just so many good level 5 waters that I don't have a whole lot of good outs for without investment. And the fact that you have Abyss Soldier too makes it even tougher, because even if I have outs, you could just bounce it back to the deck. Like, I had to shuffle my hand when I had Cylinder and Blessing. I shuffled them before setting them down because I figured you might try to bounce one of them.
Abyss Soldier bouncing back row is so good, and
Oh yeah.
it sets up your graveyard for Dimension Fusion plays too.
Yep.
But I figured this deck would be on your radar. I just want to get as much mileage out of it before either Legendary Ocean gets banned or this deck gets power crept, which
Right.
it's going to get power crept soon.
Also, one more quick note too for your prohibition. Want to know something funny?
Oh, did I prohibit a card that's not in your deck?
I don't have a single Hamon. I have 2 Uriah, but I have no Hamon. I promise you, I would absolutely run Hamon if I could, but I don't.
I mean, that's one of the reasons to run Crystal Beast, but I still think that what I declared was right.
Oh yeah.
Because
absolutely, because that's a huge power bomb that could have, if I had it, could have been a huge problem.
Like, it's a 4K. I have trouble getting over things that are above 2600, and just like a 4K that you can either just ravage my board with or wall up, and I have a very hard time dealing with it.
Right.
Because it has so much immunity. It's not quite a modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Boss monster, but it's got a lot of immunity.
Right. And it's honestly one of the easiest ones to actually get out of the 3 too.
And it doesn't interfere with Rainbow Dragon and whatnot, so you could very easily like even drop both, depending on how much setup you have.
Right. Alright, well, I guess it's time to go into the wheel and see what happens, and unfortunately, I now have a 3-loss streak again, so that means I'm going to be spinning the catch-up wheel instead of the standard wheel.
Do you have a 3-loss streak?
Yeah, you beat me in this one, Force of the Breaker, and, what was the last one?
You got me on Strike of Neos, though.
No, I won Cyber Dark Impact. You won Strike of Neos.
I guess I do have that backwards.
Let
me actually. I would need. Well, whatever. We'll figure this out.
Yeah, we'll double check and see. But yeah, let's go into the process.
Recording.
Okay, so good news. It turns out, yeah, this is only my 2nd loss in a row now, not my 3rd. So unfortunately, catch-up wheel is not a thing. But at the same time, it also feels nice knowing that I didn't lose 3 in a row. So, with that being the case, we get to spin the wildcard wheel. I prefer to spin this right now as opposed to the sealed product wheel for 2 reasons. The first, I still have a couple of important commons and rares to look for, and of course hollows will be very good too. Ironically, the SJC card is probably the only slot of here that I don't want to hit. And second, honestly, right now most of the reprint sets we have available to us are kind of poopy, or we've already hit what we need out of it. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna give this a couple of spins and see what we can run into. Oh? Okay, super rare. That's actually pretty good. Let's see what we can come up with for a choice. Okay, so looking at our available options, we were allowed to go as far back as Elemental Energy, and to be entirely honest, there really weren't any good options from Elemental Energy all the way up through to Strike of Neos, because the only good card out of that we could choose, realistically, would have been Pot of Avarice, but we already have 1 copy of that, so it's, yeah, that's really not worth the effort. So we're instead going to go ahead and pick up a copy of Dark World Dealings. This is going to be our 2nd copy of it, and this is actually going to be really good because not only has this, if I remember correctly, this card has never been limited, so that's nice, and on top of that, I still feel like at some point Rai is going to try to ban Graceful Charity. So if we can actually get cards like this, that'll allow us to still cycle cards and discard for our Dark World monsters, then that'll help out a lot. So with that being the case, we're going to lock in our choice. Dark World Dealings is going to be our super rare pick. So with that being said, that is the end of our episode for Tactical Evolution. Next week, we are going to crack open Gladiator's Assault. Holy shit, that's going to be a thing to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.